In April 1923, Lord Carnarvon lay in a Cairo hotel room, suffering from a high fever that left him struggling for breath. He died at exactly 1:55 a.m. At that same moment, the Cairo electrical grid failed, plunging the entire city into darkness. Thousands of miles away in England, his pet dog Susie began howling uncontrollably before suddenly dropping dead. Just months prior, Carnarvon had funded the opening of a 3,000-year-old tomb. Rumors of a lethal warning inscribed outside, promising death to anyone who disturbed the pharaoh's peace, immediately began to circulate. These synchronized tragedies convinced the public that an ancient trap had been activated, interpreting the medical failure as a supernatural reckoning. This sequence of events followed years of failed attempts by archaeologist Howard Carter to find a forgotten pharaoh in the Valley of the Kings. When Carter finally breached the intact tomb, he found thousands of objects preserved for millennia, including a solid gold coffin and an iconic burial mask. Local superstitions spiked after a royal cobra entered Carter's home and killed his pet canary, an event many saw as the dead king's first act of retaliation. The victim count grew to include a radiologist who x-rayed the mummy, a secretary's father who jumped, totaling 22 deaths within 6 years. Intellectual figures like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, fueled the panic by suggesting that evil elementals were responsible for the illnesses. The mummy's curse quickly became a global obsession, fusing the archaeological discovery with a growing sense of supernatural terror. To evaluate the curse, we have to look past the myth and examine the man, the forgotten King Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun inherited the throne at age 9, ruling during a period of massive national religious upheaval and social instability. Generations of royal inbreeding within his family line left his body with severe genetic defects. His tomb was packed with thousands of items, including 130 walking sticks required for him to move. Medical autopsies performed on the mummy revealed chronic bone disease and a clubbed foot, confirming he was a frail teenager rather than a vengeful deity. This sickly king died at 19 and was so thoroughly forgotten that his successors erased his name from every official record. The biology of the deaths provides a clearer explanation. Carnarvon's infection began with a mosquito bite in a world that had not yet discovered penicillin. Researchers later identified Aspergillus niger, a fungus capable of surviving for centuries in sealed tombs, which causes lethal respiratory inflammation. Modern antibiotics would have easily cured the so-called curse that killed the unfortunate explorers who inhaled these ancient spores. A 2002 statistical analysis compared the tomb explorers to a control group of Westerners in Egypt at the time. Those who entered the cursed tomb lived to an average age of 73, actually exceeding the life expectancy for their social class. The curse functioned as a shield of coincidences, a narrative that protected the living from the randomness of death. The Cairo blackout was a routine occurrence in the 1920s, as the city's early electrical grid was prone to frequent failures. The synchronized death of the dog Susie also disappears when accounting for the 4-hour time zone difference between Cairo and London. The warning itself was a fabrication by a journalist looking to steal readers from competitors who held exclusive access to the excavation site. Howard Carter, the man who actually breached the door, opened the sarcophagus, and handled the mummy, lived for 16 more years before dying of natural causes at age 64. The curse was a product of media rivalry, surviving on a reporter's lies and the public's desire for mystery. Ancient Egyptian theology taught that a person only truly dies when their name is no longer spoken. By erasing him from the records, Tutankhamun's enemies were attempting to grant him a permanent second death. The fake curse became the ultimate tool of resurrection, turning an obscure teenager into the most recognizable figure in archaeology. Every time the myth is retold, it reinforces the global fame the boy teen now enjoys. Through Howard Carter's discovery and a reporter's invention, Tutankhamun was resurrected to become the most famous pharaoh in human history.